Hey everybody, this is Eric Rosebrock. I'm here in Clearwater, Florida at Ruth Eckerd Hall with John Humphrey, the drummer for Seether, and also a Crush artist.
Yes.
Sabian.
Yes.
And Evans Drumheads.
Evans Drumheads, and we got to give props to Vic Firth Drumsticks.
Yes, Vic Firth.
Been over at Vic Firth.
So you guys have been on tour pretty much most of this year with Seether.
We've been on tour for pretty much the last 12 years.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'm serious. I was talking to Dale. It's like you kind of forget timelines and chronologically where things have happened, because it just feels like it's been one tour with it broken up a little bit with a couple trips home and then some albums being recorded in the studio. Otherwise, it's been nonstop. But really, this is the second year for touring for this album cycle for Isolate and Medicaid, our last album, our most recent album.
That's an awesome album, and
Thank you.
The drumming on that album has really inspired me as well.
Thank you.
You know, it's just some tribal stuff you have going on there. It's just amazing.
Yeah, Words as Weapons, the first single, kind of had definitely that effect to it. And I have to give a lot of credit to Brendan O'Brien, our producer. And he's the one, it was kind of a straight-ahead rock song when we first tracked it. Originally that song was going to be part of a 4-song sort of additional EP, the best of, that Seether 2002-2013 sort of greatest hits thing. And we recorded 4 tracks for it, and one of them was Words as Weapons. But anyway, Brendan had the idea of, like, you know, he had everybody come into the studio and banging on stuff, man. Stands, music stands, trash cans, drums and stuff. And then he kind of added that into the mix. You know, we had the basic track, and then he pulls up all the sort of that tribal effect that he was like kind of hearing in his head and showing us what he meant. And it just like turned the song into a completely different beast.
That was loud.
And down the drain it went. No.
Down the drain it went.
But anyway, that's totally, you know, credited to Brendan O'Brien and how he, you know, that tribal effect that he kind of gave to the production of the song really took it to a whole nother place. The song turned out so well, we decided to hold it from, you know, that greatest hits and put it on as the first single for Words as Weapons. And it was actually like the first completed song for the album too. So it sort of set the bar for the album. So every song we had to kind of write and add to, we knew that it had to be as good or better that, which was hard to do because we knew we had that in our back pocket and it sounded really good.
Well, I mean, I think the whole Isolate and Medicaid album is definitely one of those timeless pieces, man. I mean, I was going through some stuff whenever I found that album in my life, and it, you know, really described a lot of what I was going through, and I appreciate it. So, you know, definitely.
Thanks, man. I mean, that's, you know, music's the same thing for us as well. You know, it's our escape. You know, I've been listening to music since I was a kid, and I go to it when I'm down. I go to it when I'm happy. You know what I mean? Music's just such an important part of my life, has always been. And Sean's lyrics are that, you know, the listener can identify with it. You know, it's sort of ambiguous enough that, you know, it can apply to your life. You know, the relationships, the troubles that we have, the struggles, the, you know, the inner turmoils, the demons that we all have. Mm-hmm. And we're all human. We kind of have that common thread, you know.
Yeah, and that music definitely connects us on that level. So
yeah,
it's great. So the recording process, you know, in modern times where we are right now, where people can work on tracks from home.
Yeah.
When you guys put an album like this together, how do you typically collaborate that?
Well, with this, we all went to Los Angeles. Brendan has a room that he uses at the old A&M studios in Los Angeles, which is now Henson Studios. Historic studio, man. It's been around forever, so many great albums. But he has a room there, and so we all met up in Los Angeles and did the basic tracks. Well, we did everything there. We did the overdubs and everything there in Los Angeles. So we kind of made it old school in that sense, and that's kind of how we've made all the albums up to this point. Okay. We kind of put our lives on hold, and then we hole up in whatever city. We did, you know, before that we did Holding On to Strings in Nashville. And we've done overdubs before in New York, but usually, you know, we kind of will live at, you know, an executive apartment like the Oakwoods or something in Los Angeles, and kind of live there in an apartment like, you know, old band style, and then head over to the studio and just kind of be focused on the album, the recording and the writing, and just kind of not let the, you know, phone calls and wives and the normal thing kind of infiltrate into that. We're just kind of like a band and focusing on music for that 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. But this album, we actually recorded it top to bottom in 2.5 weeks. In 2.5 weeks, it went really quick, and
Wow.
and we knocked it out. It's kind of like a band doing its first album. It went really, really fast. You know, we were rehearsed. The guys came to Oklahoma, where I live, December, just a few weeks before. We went in January 2014 to record Isolate and Medicaid. And so in December 2013, my friend has a demo studio in Oklahoma. So the guys came to hang out with me, and we Sean had already put together 7 or 8 songs. We needed 4 or 5 more to complete the track list, and we worked on songs for 2 or 3 weeks and rehearsed on the others. We were tight and well rehearsed, like we'd been on the road. Went in the studio and knocked it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, a great album.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
So you guys have any albums coming up that you're gonna foresee working on? You're gonna keep going with this
Yeah,
one for a
we
while?
have the newest single, Nobody Praying for Me, and
I'm a star that's just a black hole now. I'm a terrifying danger. I'm a fruit decaying on the ground. I'm a swallower of anger. I'm the tree that falls and makes no sound.
we're touring that right now. We're 3 doors right now. We got about 2 weeks left on this tour, and then we go to Europe, overseas, the UK. We're doing Leeds and Reading Fest, big UK festivals. First time for us to do those, and that'll take us all the way through September. I think we'll do another US headline run in October, and possibly South Africa before the year's end. So still a lot of touring. This newest single, and just doing what we do, man. Seether,
living the dream.
That's
Yeah.
it. We're on the road.
So I guess one last question I have for you. What advice do you have for anybody who is coming up in the music scene, trying to get to where
Yeah.
you are right now?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're doing it. So.
Yeah. Don't.
Don't do it. But yeah, like what has made, I guess, like the underground for your success? Like, what's the staple for you?
You know, really, it's hard work. You know, anybody, if they're getting into this because they think they're going to cheat the system and somehow, you know, they're going to make it rich and famous and not have to put in the hard work that if you did a 9-to-5 job, man. I'm telling you that I've put in more hours. You know, if you added it up to overtime, you know, in a real job, it would be unbelievable. I mean, we've had to work very hard. I mean, I think that has a lot to do with Sean and Dale, originally from South Africa, but I think their background is very similar to mine. I'm from the South, the Midwest, Oklahoma. And my parents, you just were, the work ethic was, you want something out of life, you have to work hard for it. And that's what we've always done, man. We've toured relentlessly. We've had success at radio. We've been very fortunate that way, but we've kind of won our fans really one by one, man, just going out there and hitting the road, playing shows, doing good shows, word of mouth, especially in Europe, overseas, you know. And I think you can get anything you want, really. That, I know that sounds very sort of generic, like you can attain your dreams, but really I think you work hard. Good things comes, you know, to those that work really hard and put in the time, and I think the work ethic for Seether is, anybody who's looked at our tour schedule for the last 12 years can see that, you know, we work really hard. You know, and you've got to be able to do that. And if you're young and you're starting out, man, play anywhere, play everywhere. You know, my son, he's 16 years old. He just started playing drums about 2.5-3 years ago.
Nice.
Great little drummer. And I'm like, yeah, I can't believe, you know, I've got this son. He's wanting to get into it, but he's got it. He's a great little player. But I tell him, he plays in our church band. He plays with friends. You know, he just sort of did like the university has this sort of school of rock band camp that they do in the summer. He's made friends out of that, and so he's got 2 or 3 different bands he's playing with. So for a young drummer, that's great. One's a cover band. You know, he has to read charts in one. You know, and the other is like original band. So, you know, for an aspiring musician, that's what you just got to play anywhere and everywhere you can, man. You know, you can always learn from musicians. If you play with guys that are, you know, they're at a level that's, you know, been playing longer than yourself, you can always learn from guitar players and bass players, you know, even if they don't play drums. Musicians that are better than yourself help, you know, make yourself better. So, you know, I really encourage working hard and playing anywhere and everywhere you can.
Cool. Well, John, I greatly appreciate this opportunity again.
Thanks, man.
And looking forward to rocking it out there tonight.
Okay.
So I'm excited. So.
Thanks, guys.